If you want to follow along with me, guys, please open the file marylouphotographer.aep. For that, you can come to the menu here, File, and you say Open Project, and you navigate to where you have downloaded your projects from the second lecture, I guess. You want to open Mary Lou Photographer. This is the file. You click on it, you select it, of course, and you click on Open. Here you are, you can start following along with me. In the previous lecture, you have seen about the default workspace. In this lecture, I want to take you around in this workspace, and the purpose here is for you to feel extremely familiar with the interface of After Effects so you can work easily and happily. Remember, After Effects is all about having fun. If you don't have fun, if you want to do motion graphics and visual effects very seriously, it's not gonna work. So you need to be lighthearted, creative. What can you do? How can you do things? So let's start here. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the top menu. In Windows, you will start with File. In Mac, you will start with After Effects CC, and it has several options. Nevertheless, you can see the menu, and for every option or for some options, you will have a shortcut. So if you want to know the shortcut, just come to the option. This is Control S for save, or for new composition, for example, is Control N. So this is our top menu that I will come to very many times until you are very familiar with all the shortcuts. Under the main menu here, you have the toolbar. This is where you are going to pick the tools that you are going to use to create your composite or the video that you will render at the end. You have, for example, the selection tool, and the shortcut, if you point at it, you will see selection tool, and the shortcut is V. You have the hand tool that will help you move things around if you want to, okay? And you have the zoom tool, the rotation tool, and all the others that you will be using. Now, some of these options are very straightforward. Just click once and that's it. But some of them you can click and long click if you like, then you will have many other options. So if you want, for example, to change the tool here, you long click and select rectangle. Now notice what's happening here. When I change tools, the options here change. I want you to keep an eye on this. It's pretty important. So for rectangle, for example, you have the fill, you have the stroke that are highlighted I can use, and you have the Bezier path that you should keep an eye on it when you're drawing shapes. For the text, if I long click, I have horizontal and vertical, and notice how the character panel has opened. On the left side, if you haven't moved it, there is the project panel where you will have all the files that you have imported in After Effects listed here, and all the compositions that you have created. In the middle over here, you have your composition viewer. If you come to the menu, you click on photographer, for example, you see new comp viewer. So you can have several comp viewers if you have several comps that you can preview over here. Also, you have the small menu that is pretty important later on. Over here in blue is the name of the composition. So within the composition viewer, you will view exactly what you have put as videos, what is happening, how are the effects behaving, and stories like this. In the timeline, this is where it will be the major work. You have two parts. The left part over here, you have your layers. This is where you are compositing. So in this example, I have a video that is photographer.mp4. I added a shape layer, I added a text layer, another text layer, and of course I can preview them on this side. Of course, we'll see how to reorder all this. On the right side, it is the timeline. You have the timeline indicator. If you click on it and scrub through, you can see what's happening in your composition, how things are behaving, and this is where you will have the animation. If you press U, for example, you can see the keyframes and how things are being animated and how they appear. You can also come to the timeline, press spacebar, and you can play what is happening in your composition or preview the composition itself. So this is pretty easy. Now, about these numbers here, these are seconds and frames. Now, it all depends on the resolution that you are using. You could have only seconds, low resolution. You could have much more than I have if you're using high resolution. And you can have these is simple. This is 0 second. Notice the time is over here of the timeline indicator. If I scrub it through, now I'm on 10 frames. Now 20 frames, 1 second. So notice how it is. When you have 10F, these are frames. When you have 0100F, that is seconds. You have another seconds here. That is 2 seconds. So mainly this is about the default workspace. Now you have some manipulation that you can do for the panels. For example, you can resize a panel. Here you are. Of course, both of them are being resized. And you can resize vertically. Here you are, up and down. So you can see more of the timeline and less of the composition viewer. For example, I'll take it back here. And also you can move the panels around. For example, if you don't like project over here, you can select it, click on the name and start moving it around. You can put it on the right over here. Or you can be a bit more sophisticated and just put it, for example, on this side, the extreme right. Okay, so you can see everything that you have depending on what you want to do. Let's take back project and put it on the left again. Here you are. Notice I can move it almost anywhere. Now you notice this stacked panel group. This is a panel group. If you click on one, it will open. If you click on another one, the previous one will close and the one you clicked on will open. Now, where did these come from? Well, if you come to window here, these are all the panels you can have in After Effects. And there are very few, by the way, compared to Photoshop or Illustrators. And if you want a panel to appear, all you have to do is to check it. For example, I will check brushes. Here you are. Brushes is over here. Of course, you can make it bigger or smaller, size it the way you want. You can also click on it and position it anywhere you want within the stacked group panel. Cool. Now, if you close one of them, let's say we close brush, we close character, here you are, we close them. And we want them back. All you have to do is to come to window and say, okay, check character, it will appear over here. And check brushes, for example, it's over here. It comes over here. Cool. Of course, you can move these to anywhere you want. For example, you can take brushes and just put it over here and make it bigger, something like this. So I invite you to open this project and try to play around, mess it up the way you would like and so on. Then when you're done, you can just come over to reset to save layout and here you are, you're back to the standard one. To have a stacked group panel like this, all you have to do is to come to any panel, you go to the menu and you have panel group setting and make sure that you have stacked panel group checked, solo panels in stack checked and small tabs checked. Come and play with it and you will find what is best for you and how you would like to work. Thank you very much for listening. In the next lecture, we jump in to understand what are compositions. See you then.